Get into Brooks. Okay, let me see if I can help her. Hold on.
Yeah, you're good. We just have to finish before 11. I have one last little bag to assemble, and then I'm off to the airport.
Good for you too. I'm glad you're getting a chance to go.
I literally, it's kind of crazy because I was talking to my sister last night, and I was like, there's literally no way I could have done this if I didn't work from home. Like there's literally no way I wouldn't have had the time, like, and with the COVID testing requirements and all that kind of stuff, it just would have been impossible in quarantine and all that. So very, very grateful. Okay, cool. Hold on.
What, baby?
Gotta get the good juice.
Where are you going in Brooklyn?
Up to the Great White North. Canada. Woo.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going like before, like one big long trip, but
Yeah, it ended up not really working out. Long story short, my parents just, after going to Tennessee, they were like, you can't come, and then they kind of changed their mind, and yes, family matters. Some people are taking it harder than others. Okay, guys, so I have been kind of like looking at the team, and I apologize, I don't always get to go support on everybody's stuff, but sometimes I just take a moment and I look and I see what people are up to, and I want to know, like, how they're doing. Facebook's a great way, right? And so I was looking recently, and there's just some ideas I had and some things I wanted to put across, because people always ask me, how do you build on social media? And I think it's a great question, because there's so many different ways that, you can do it. But I personally believe that there are ways that lead to long-lasting results and ways that lead to results that don't last very long. And so last night, I put together just some stuff here, but you guys feel free to ask your questions or whatever. We'll get them answered. I want to preface this by saying I network and have created a presence on social media, but that's not where the conversations stop. And the whole point, my whole goal with using social media is to create more conversations than I would have locally. Also because I'm, for the most part, a homebody and an introvert unless I'm traveling. So social media is a great way for me to meet new people and people like-minded and people with things in common. So today I'm gonna.
Sorry, my daughter's like yelling. Just a moment, please. I know a lot of times in network marketing, we've been told that it's our storefront. I mean, it kind of is, but it really isn't anymore. The times have changed. Like Brooklyn said, people want to see you. They do not want to see your product. They don't want to see your join me post. They look, I was talking to a potential the other day. Got him on a call with Kyle. It's a guy, I thought he would relate to him. And he said, I read posts and I immediately know where they're going. One of those things. And I was like, that's it, because people have already seen it for years now. They know where they're going. So you want to switch it up and do something different. Talk about you. Take the product, take the opportunity completely out of it. Every now and then, if you want to throw it in, like, damn, something changed my life and I'm so thankful for it. Let that be it. Okay. Use it as showing who you are and share those things. That's what your Facebook should look like when people see it. Okay. It's okay if you, in your stories, you want to go like, hey, look, this is my favorite drink or something, but don't be like, here's my product, you should buy it. Okay, be you. That's what I wanted to add to that with what you were saying.
Definitely a good ad, and super important, guys. What it comes down to is you are a person. You're not a commercial, you're not a billboard, you're not an advertisement, right? And so and we're going to talk about some ways that you can put yourself out there without being, spammy. So the point of today's call is to teach you how to use your Facebook to build a team without appearing spammy or having to cold message randoms. I wrote ransoms, but this was at night, so randoms. The goal is to create conversations, okay? And first thing I want to go over, and most people might think at this point this is a given, but this training is hopefully going to last and be relevant for a while here. Your picture should be you, okay? Your profile picture should be of you. It shouldn't be of a cartoon character or your cat or your back porch or whatever. It should be you. It should probably just be you, unless, you really want to build your social media presence as like a couple or something like that, which I'm not well versed in, so don't ask me how to do that. But your profile picture should really be you. It should be a quality photo, smiling, friendly, inviting, right? And the reason is because that's the first thing that people see when you add them and when they decide if they're going to add you or not, right? So if it's a cartoon character or a meme or I don't know, a celebrity or something like that, it's just not going to allow you to build relationships because it's not going to seem human. Like, it's going to seem weird if you reach out to people. It's going to be odd if you're trying to start conversations or add people or network, right? So not of sparkles or a quote either, correct? Yes. And guys, I know that they have those little frames with like the different causes that you support and stuff. I never use them. I'm not saying they're bad, but at least the profile picture should really be of you, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is bio. So this is, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to show you. So obviously, profile picture, right? Bio. This is the bio right here. It's that little area of space right underneath your photo. And your bio should be, let me tell you what it shouldn't be first. It shouldn't contain company names. It shouldn't contain all these different things that, you sell and that kind of stuff. It shouldn't be quote. It should really be relatable things about you, something relating to your why or purpose, something that draws a new person into you personally, right? So for example, mine is
that we did the other night that helped everybody dig deep into who they were. I'm a 28-year-old retired, whatever. You can put that, put something different. Don't put mom a 2. Okay. It's show your kids on your page, but almost everybody's a mom, right? Especially if they're network marketing. So you can put that at the end. You want your first part to just be really catchy and different, to stand out. That is what you have to do. You have to stand out.
Yeah. And keep in mind, standing out could be along the lines of just being more specific with what type of mom you are, right? Like, so for me, I do have mom in my bio. And so my bio is Florida. It's a little palm tree emoji. This is gonna be backwards for you maybe. Then it says dog mom with a puppy emoji, ADHD advocate with a brain emoji. And then it says figuring out how to live a life worth living, okay? And so, I put dog mom because I meet a lot of other dog parents and it's always a great conversation starter for me. So I would pick things that you want to either talk about with someone, because when someone sees your bio, it's a space for them to start a conversation. And it helps you appear human, right? Because you are. But if you have like a quote or, I don't know, I can't even think, like Navon business builder or something like that, like it's not going to identify you as an individual human. And that's what we're trying to do on social media, is we're really trying to create our influential footprint, because when you have people following and you can express that you care about things, then people will start to care. We're going to get into that. But simply for the bio, okay, something like relatable things about you, something relating to your why or purpose, something to draw a new person in. So maybe you're a special needs mom, right? Maybe you are a boy mom I know that has its own set of challenges. Maybe you are a dog mom, maybe you're a cat mom or whatever. Whatever you would be able to talk to people about, because this is all starting conversations, right? Next, cover photo. Okay. For those of you who don't know, this is the cover photo, this thing kind of behind your profile picture. And I'm showing it to you on a phone. But it looks kind of similar on a computer as well. It's that photo at the top. It should be something clean. It should ideally not clash with your profile pic. It should be, something that relates to you. So I've seen people have, like a special moment. Like, so for me, it's Trey giving me the Restoring Hope Award, right? Because that's just very special and meaningful to me. It might be, you with your kids, or whatever, just something that relates to you, something clean. Doesn't have to be super fancy.
You can create a background if you want to, guys, and I don't mean like some not well put together looking one, but they have apps. Like, you guys know, Brooklyn almost always puts together our like graphics for things. Not that you would put a graphic, but you could, if there was a quote that you liked or something that had a lot of meaning to your life, you could get a plain background, use one of those apps and put it up there, center it perfectly where you'd still be able to see it. Or if there's, you can, I don't want to say piece together things, but those specific things in your life that say who you are. And don't, hey, we all go in there. Don't build your Facebook based on what you think other people want to see from you. Be true to who you are, because 1,000% the moment that you are so true to yourself and you start being you, and Brooklyn can testify to this because she's done it, people will just come. They'll just come. They just freaking come out of nowhere. When you're vulnerable too, I can't remember who, I think it was David Norrie yesterday talking about the vulnerability. People come. It starts conversations because they don't get that anywhere else. Hardly anyone else in the world is vulnerable. They don't want to talk about the hard things. So if you are like that live video that I did yesterday, I didn't want to do that, but God was just like pushing me off that cliff again, that people needed to know that there's a friend out there, there's help out there, there's someone that relates to them. And those are the not highlighty things, right? Those are the things that are hard. So don't air all your dirty laundry on Facebook per se, but these kids are crazy at this time of the morning. But be your vulnerable self too. Learn to break down those walls and open your heart a little bit and share those kinds of things, because you will find your tribe a lot quicker by doing that. And then you'll be able to help a lot more people because you're already that one chapter ahead of them.
Yeah. So exactly what she's saying. And I want to insert back to when we were talking about the cover photo. This would be a great place to put a meaningful quote to yourself. If you want to put a quote, don't put it in your bio. I would put it in your cover photo. The other thing to keep in mind is your bio, it technically can work within search algorithms. And I'm not going to get super technical on this, but if someone like searches ADHD on Facebook, my profile could come up because I have ADHD advocate in there, right? So again, things that you are passionate about, know about, experience, right? That you could have conversations around, because you don't want to just be like, putting things out there because it sounds good. And then when it comes to it, trying to talk about it, you're not going to have anything to say, right? This is all about creating genuine, honest conversations that you can have with somebody that feel good to have, even if they're, about hard things, but it's natural. It's not something you don't know about. You're not trying to put on airs. Okay. So that's cover photo. About section, guys, keep it simple. I've seen some people with mile-long about sections, right? Listing, everything they've done under the sun, all the places, all their interests. It can get lengthy. So just look at your about section, and just to give you an idea, the only things that I have in my about section, and again, that's kind of like right at the top here, is, I guess it shows my relationship status, but whatever. Single, it shows how many people are following me. It's got my Instagram link. It's got our podcast link. It's got my link tree. And some of them will say like, I do recommend putting like your city, or if that's spooky to you, or you live somewhere in a small town, maybe the biggest known area. Because again, when people type in, you know, Tampa, Florida, like Brooklyn could come up, right? So it's just another way to be out there. And I want to express, guys, you have to put your profile in public if you want to take advantage of attracting people and building a network online. And I know that a lot of us have put our, you know, our settings on friends only and stuff like that. You really have to put it on public. You have to put your visibility on public, because again, people are looking at your page before they even decide if they're going to engage with you. If they haven't even, if they're not your friend yet and they're thinking about adding you or reaching out and asking you what you do or whatever, and they're not your friend yet, and they can't see anything that you're about because you're doing friends only, it's not going to lead to the result you want. And I can only tell you that you might not see that today, but you will see it in time. If you change your visibility settings to public, you will start to see over time that you start to draw in people that you don't even realize, right? It's how I've honestly, it's how I found some of my, I mean, that's why Pam and I connected, because I did a live that was on public setting that someone else shared with her, then she added me, and 7 months later I accepted, right? So just, you know, to keep that in mind. Your highlights. Okay. So for those of you who can't tell, I'm definitely a Facebook person. I like it better for building relationships. A lot of people use Instagram. I'm not going to be teaching on Instagram today, but Facebook has a similar feature like Instagram has, where you can create a little spot with your story highlights. Guys, don't get carried away on this. Don't spend hours and hours and hours. You know, it's a fine tuning thing. If your business isn't where you want it to be, then you need to be talking to more people, not, you know, tweaking around with your highlights. But it's a good place that you can have like previous Facebook story posts kind of in a little collection, that if someone was scrolling through your page and they were creeping, you know, they could look and they could see, you know, some things you wanted to show them. Like I've always had, and I'm redoing it, so I just deleted them for now, but I had like my travels, fitness, I had my whole move process, and then my story, right? Like my actual kind of story. You'd have to look at my page to see what I mean. It's literally something I created on the app called oh gosh, what's it called? It's gonna bother me if I don't tell you. It's called Unfold, and it's a great little app. You can use it to create Instagram stories and whatnot. But this has led to conversations. That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay, travel conversations, conversations about my move, conversations about Bailey, conversations about my story. That's the whole point why I have those highlights. It's not to look fancy or flashy or anything like that. It's not to impress anybody. It's not to spam products, although sometimes in those collections there might be a story post about a product because it like relates. But it's really to start conversations. Denise, you have a question. I can't get my feature photos to show, and how do you have yours that is one big square that says good vibes? I just only have one feature photo, and I made this using an app called Over. We're not going to go over apps today necessarily, but I just made that, and then I chose one feature photo and popped up. I know some people do the 9, the square, some people do 3 or whatever. I just like 1. That's kind of what I'm all about. People scroll through my page, it's kind of cohesive with my highlights and stuff. And I mean, it's a whole vibe, right? And that's really an advanced thing, guys. I don't want to get too much into like branding and making it all flashy and fancy, because I didn't start there. Like that's not where I started. So the stuff that I want to teach you today is where we're going to start. And the stuff that I'm going to teach today is also where I hope that you'll get reinvigorated and excited about Facebook, because it is such a cool tool. Like I just want to stop, and I know it gets a lot of hate, and I know it, for some people it's creating divide, and I know it's been a negative space for a lot of people, and that's probably more about who you're connected with and maybe what we're letting our mind wander around in. And I'm definitely not shaming anyone, because I've been there, but Facebook is an incredible tool to meet amazing human beings. Okay, let me say that again. Facebook is an incredible tool to meet amazing human beings. Facebook is not a billboard, an advertisement somewhere where I'm just going to throw my link or link a video or share. It is really an incredible tool to meet other people. It is a networking business tool. This is how I've created some of the best relationships I have. This is how I've drawn people in to want to get to know me. And when they want to get to know me and I want to get to know them back, then often what that does is lead to a lasting business relationship. Okay, so I want to talk to you today about the things that create that excitement with using the tool. Hopefully that's cool with everyone. And you guys can definitely drop questions in the chat. Please do. Please drop questions in the chat.
Okay, so if you are the type of person, because Brooklyn and I have both been there, where you don't want to get on Facebook, where you're just like, oh, I don't even want to open the app. What's it going to be today? If you're an empath, maybe you're feeling all this with what's going on in the world. If people are just being negative, there's buttons where you can just delete, because this right now you need, if you're not getting your business where you want it to go in real life, like, face to face, you need Facebook. You need some type of social media so that you can meet more people faster, right? So you can have those connections a lot faster. So you need to go through and delete those people. Delete, block, remove, snooze, whatever it is. Get them off your timeline. If you have a bunch of people from other, like in your team, like all over your timeline, snooze them for a little while. Clear that space so you can start seeing new people, new faces. You can go in Messenger any time of the day and it'll show you who's active at that very moment. Click it, send them a message. Hi, Susie, I just realized we never connected before. You have to forgive me for dropping the ball. I see you love to travel. Is that something that you do on a regular basis or whatever? Start a conversation with them. If you're holding on to a lot of old potentials or people that aren't coming through or whatever, just you've got to start over. Okay, you have to use Facebook. You're gonna have to change it in your mind that you love Facebook. I love Facebook, and I had to do this a couple months ago, and that's why I'm telling you. And I told Brooklyn, I said I have to keep reminding myself with affirmations every day that I love Facebook, because I got to a point where I didn't even want to open it because of everything that was going on in the world. And so I would tell myself every day, wow, I'm so grateful that I have this free tool that I get to use to build a business every single day, all day long. And then when it kind of clicked, I thought, shame on me for taking advantage of it and saying that I hated it and saying that I didn't like it and not using it and not opening it and not connecting with people. That's why my business slowed down, because I wasn't connecting with people again. So take what she's saying and apply it. And if you have to delete people, snooze them, whatever you have to do to clear that air, remind yourself that you're so lucky that you get to use this tool for free every single day to build your business, to put money in your family's account, to put food on the table for your family, and just go make those connections. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, she's spot on. And like I was saying, I know a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth with Facebook right now. Look, everywhere you go, there's going to be an opportunity, there's going to be an obstacle. There's going to be something you don't like about your situation, right? But everywhere you go, there's going to be an opportunity to use it for something good, or an opportunity to change the situation around. So you decide what you're going to give your attention to. I prefer to just stay in my own lane on Facebook and really focus on doing things I enjoy with it. And I mean that, right? We've been taught so many times, you got to post. I know that there are people on this call that have been part of companies that say, if you're not posting 6 times a day, then you're not doing anything. If you're not cold messaging 200 people, every single day, then you're not doing anything, you're slacking. And I want you to just get out of that mentality, because neither of those things create conversations. Neither of those things create connections. Neither of those things create relationships. They don't. Okay? If you are seen as spammy, no one wants to talk to someone who's spammy, because they're afraid that they're going to get cornered in with you. And you don't want that to be what the conversation is about. Guys, I know that with our stuff and with our opportunity, we can help everyone. Yes. But we need to get to a place with our presence and our influence in our relationships. And it doesn't have to take long, but just where there's at least a genuine connection, so much so that when you offer something, they know you care and they now care about what you're offering. So I want to touch on Lonnie's question in a second there, but first I'm going to talk about posting. And the reason is because I want to make sure I get through this. Posting, guys. I don't want you to ever feel like you're posting stuff that is just like, there's nothing fun about being like, oh, I have to post. I gotta post. I gotta put up my post. I guess I gotta post today. Guys, posting should be about your passions. It should be about things you want to create conversations about, right? It should be about your dreams, your opinions on I mean, I guess technically whatever, but I like to put my opinions on like things I'm passionate about, right? I like to share my knowledge about that. I like to share my moments, similar to like a diary. Okay, and you'll hear me say that before. My page is like a diary that I share with other people. It is a constant documentation of my journey. It is the raw, it is the real, it is things I do, things I experience, things I learn, right? And it's kind of like this little like journal diary that I share with everybody. But the reason that I'm consistent on social media now is because I love posting. I love the conversations it creates. I love finding the people who like the things that I do, right? And so like recently, some of you may have seen, I was posting my art, right? Like I just posted last night, I started this digital drawing and whatever. And the conversations that have been created from it are pretty fun. Like it's pretty fun to talk to people about, you know, their art. And I was talking to Denise last night and I found out she used to paint things on wood, and like it's so cool. I had, you know what I mean? And so you could really create these conversations and these relationships with some people that you want to work with and people that you don't even necessarily have a connection with yet through sharing your passions. I was talking to one of my recent enrollments, and I said, would it be fun? Like, does it sound fun to start talking about, you know, your passions? And her passions are, her passion surrounds like horses and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I could probably learn something from you, right? And she's like, yeah, but I don't have any right now. Like, I love horses. I want to have horses, but I don't have any right now because we couldn't afford it. And I said, well, great. Well, you still know about horses. You've had them in the past. You want them, right? That's something that you're going towards. That's a dream. There's things that you're doing to get there. I said, talk about that, share that. And does that feel good to you? And she was like, yeah, that actually feels good. I actually want to be on Facebook now. And she made this awesome post about this trailer that she had got because she said next time she gets a horse, she's going to have a trailer for it. So she got this trailer that she's going to fix up for a project. And that was super cool to read and learn about her. And she started to create, there's some conversations going on in the comments and stuff. And guys, when people post on your stuff, here's a quick little tip that I wasn't really planning on throwing in here. When people post on your stuff, reply, but reply with intention to create conversations. Okay? There's going to be people who will just throw like, oh, that's awesome, this is cool. Just say thank you and move on, or don't say anything, or just like the comment, whatever. The more comments that you have on your post, the more Facebook is going to trend it. So you might get to some eyes that it wouldn't get to if you did reply to everybody. But try and create conversations, ask questions, right? So like yesterday, when I posted the art one, for example, and people were like, oh, that's awesome, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, do you draw? You know, do you do art? And it started to create conversations. No one went on there and was like, oh yeah, I used to do art, blah, blah, blah. I mean, maybe some people, but for the most part, start to draw that out because they're not used to people caring. They're not used to people wanting to know about them and their hobbies and their skills. Most people in their life have already heard it, or people don't pay attention, right? Because I mean, probably if they're not in a circle that's going up, they might be in a circle that's just kind of miserable. And that's just observation. I'm definitely not saying that everyone has bad friends, but and Pam said, don't reply to all the comments at one time. Yeah, don't reply to all the comments at one time for your own sake too. Like, don't burn yourself out, right? reply a little bit, go away, do something else, come back, reply. It'll keep it trending in Facebook. And at the same time, you won't just be like running through and trying to respond to comments all the time. I probably leave, on any given post, 2 or 3 to always kind of go back to and respond to and retrend it. Hopefully that makes sense. With posting, a few tips: shorter in the morning, longer in the evening. It's just the way people's brains work, guys. People do not want to read long posts in the morning. And I'm talking like long, like deep, like meaningful, like your story and stuff. Do that in the evening when people have, they're sitting down and they're a little more present, their brains are awake. Not everybody has V+, remember that. Always use your voice, okay? Always use your voice. What I mean by that is, you can borrow others' words, you can borrow others' topics, you can borrow others' inspiration, but use your own words, make it your own. If you read my posts, and granted, again, this has evolved over time to where I started to understand my writing voice, but I learned that my writing voice is really the same as my speaking voice. And so how I talk is how it comes across in the post. You could probably ask anybody who spent time with me in person. Ask Jackie, she would tell you. The way that I write is probably the exact same way that I would tell you that thing out loud, like to your face. Although, of course, I would stutter because I'm literally the most awkward human being. But we thrive on it, right? We are just ourselves, and it's totally fine. Same thing with lives. Just be you. Don't try and be polished. Don't try and be perfect. Pictures in your posts. Pictures in your posts. Guys, not every single time you need a photo. The big letter posts, the short, one-liners are great, and that's fantastic. But photos, quality photos of moments in your life, you with other people, things that are cool to look at, like whatever, your passions. If you're a beekeeper, take pictures of your bees, what you're trying to find other people who have that thing in common with you. They're going to relate to the visual of your photo. It doesn't need to be perfect. Once I start seeing people understanding the base advice, then we can teach things like how to make your photos look a little bit more snazzy, because that's something I learned along the way. You are also more than welcome to go learn. YouTube is a playground of information. That's how I learned everything, along with just some other voices and influences within the industry. If you like the way someone writes or puts out content, pay attention, emulate it, but make it your own, right? Always make it your own. So if you want to have anything to do with the products, please do not take a photo of the bottle of your product. If I just see a photo of Daily Detox, I'm scrolling right by, okay? I'm scrolling right by, and this stuff is amazing. It deserves more than that, right? You could, I'm not gonna open it right now, but you could have a picture of you doing the thing. You could have a picture of you doing that. You could have a picture of you and this is in the background, whatever. If you want it, there's nothing bad about including your products in your photo. I recommend not having the name super visible again. It's just, people hear the name of a company, they can go research it themselves. They'll be buying from corporate. I'm sorry, but that's just the case. If they don't have a reason to reach out to you and have a conversation about it, they won't. That's just human nature. Memes are great on occasion, right? So I'm talking about the motivational posters, the motivational quotes, but they are not everything. You need to have you, okay? And I use those sometimes, right? If I come across a really good one that's like kind of punchy and I'm like, man, I needed that. It's probably someone else who needed that. But if that's all you're posting every single day, no one knows who you are, right? We want to know who Victoria is. We want to know who Brenda is. We want to know who Fire Tablet is. And I have no idea who it is because it says Fire Tablet, but you get my point, right? We want to know who you are. And so the people that you're trying to interact with, they don't want to talk to someone who they don't know. In order to do business with you guys, they need to know, like, and trust you. It doesn't take 10 years to know someone. It doesn't even have to take 10 days, but you have to be you. You have to be willing to be you and show people you, okay?
Hey, I'll add something while you're talking about that. And this is something that I think Brooklyn and I just kind of got really good at, and stories, letting that be the place where people can really see your life. You know, you chasing your kids, the mess in your living room, your dog pooped in the floor, or your kids are yelling all day, or you went on vacation or whatever. Let them see you in your real life. Do a video, do a boomerang, do a short little thing with something that you learned. Like, show up and let them see you for all that you are, unperfected, unpolished, rehearsed. Be normal. People appreciate people not being perfect, if that makes sense. So utilize your stories in that manner if you're not.
Yeah, very good point. Stories are only up for 24 hours, so it's a great place to experiment. If you're not, you know, at the point where you're doing lives yet, talking about things that you are passionate about, or sharing personal development or whatever it is, then I would start in stories. And you can start with the camera away from you, narrate, I don't know, going through the grocery store and why you pick the healthy ingredients you do or whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter. Narrate you're standing on top of a summit and looking at the sunrise because you're an early riser now or whatever. Then you can start doing more like self, you know, you can have the camera facing you and you can share your opinions or what are you going to do today or whatever. It's a really great place for you to kind of experiment and see what creates conversations. Because again, that's all we're trying to do here is create conversations. Your stories are a great way to do that because any responses to them go directly in your inbox. That goes for you as well. Any responses that you send people will go directly into their inbox. It is probably the main way that I create new conversations. It is also the way that I revitalize and rekindle conversations. It is also the way that I follow up with people. It is also the way that I have found more people who actually, because on their stories, they're putting things that are important to them, right? We're not talking about the weather. I mean, unless they put a sunset, because that's my kryptonite. But we're not talking about the weather, right? We're not talking about anything, you know, super surface or, how are you today? They put up a picture of their kids, like they have kids and they care about them. If they put a picture of, you know, their steak dinner, then they like food or whatever. Like, I have things, I can always start conversations around food. Y'all know this. Especially if you have potatoes on that plate, you watch out, you're my target. So humor, laugh, make people laugh and smile too on your stories. It's always, make them say, what the hell? It's always fun.
Add something while we're on the stories topic. There's tons of features that stories has that will boost the amount of people that see it. So use those things like polls. So like Brooklyn was talking about, let me see if I can go down here a second talk. Polls. So if you're doing food for the night, you can do a poll like, should we do chicken enchiladas or chicken taco salad or something, and let people vote on those things. You can do the question box where you ask them a question. What's your favorite self-development book, or whatever pertains to your life? That will start conversation. That will pull your tribe out of the people that are watching you, and because they're gonna give you feedback. Therefore, Facebook is going to say, oh, people like this. Let's show it to more people. And the vulnerable posts, believe it or not, like they get a lot of engagement on stories too. So utilize the features that Facebook has as well. Just get in there, play around with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to know what you're doing. Like Brooklyn said earlier, though, don't waste a ton of time trying to figure it out right now if you're trying to grow your business fast. But a little bit every day, you know, spend 5 or 10 minutes. Oh, sorry, just got a message. Spend 5 or 10 minutes playing around with the features button on there and throw something up and see what happens. So I just wanted to add that about the features.
Yep, super good point. I think as well with stories, guys, understand that it's either going to be your first or last story most of the time that's going to show to people in previews. So don't start the day with product or businessy posts. Try and start the day with, you know, or try and start your day of stories with a selfie or sunrise or something that just like pops out at the eyes so that it catches their attention, right? Because as much
Selfies are good.
Mhm.
Selfies are really good to have like the beginning.
As much as I would like to say, oh, beat the human psychology visually with stories, what catches the eye, and I'm not saying it's got to be perfect, polished, or whatever, but just if you post a computer screen, or you post a corporate marketing photo or something in your stories, it's just not going to appeal to people. Okay, and we know what we have, so let's not do it that disservice. In your posts, no company marketing photos, guys, no links, please. A lot of people need to not share things so much, and I don't mean that you can't share things or share other people's. The only things I share are my memories. Okay, my memories, and maybe once in a while something about the business. I'm gonna try and word this carefully. Maybe like someone else's live that's like a really relevant testimony, maybe once in a while, but it's more about memories. I want people to see that visual timeline, who I was a year ago, or something relevant that popped back up or whatever. That's really the only thing I share. I don't share recipes. I don't share cat videos. I don't share random news stories. I don't share a lot of articles. There's nothing that really helps you stand out. Now, I know if your passion is like politics and stuff like that, maybe you have a little bit of leeway there with what people will look at, but Facebook does not favor links. They don't like it when you put a link, especially outside of Facebook. They don't really like it when you're posting unoriginal content. So that's just what I'll say on that. I would not recommend sharing things. And I think you'll see that your engagement and what people start to see of your posts when your content's more original and it's more personal and it's not spammy, you'll start to see your engagement go up, and that will create more know, like, trust.
Hey, they have keyword things that they will block your post from being seen too, like certain things like who wants a free this, or a lot of things that are related to business or giveaways. They just block people from seeing it. And so unless you have a following that's checking your page every day, you have to figure out a way to incorporate it into original content and posts, or with a call to action at the end or something, because it's not going to get seen. I mean, it's sad.
The rule of thumb is if you sound like a commercial, Facebook wants you to be paying for ad space, and you're not. Your page is not about ad space. That would be a business page. That would be probably not the greatest fit for what we do, right? So if you sound like a commercial or a billboard or an advertisement, then Facebook wants to be paying for that. They will minimize your personal content, and it will affect other content you have as well, because Facebook will just see you as that kind of profile. So just be aware of that. Guys, be posting, again, I'm going to say it, your passions. What is it that you like? And don't ever think it's too niche. I was listening to this training the other day from someone, and she was talking about how she was helping someone through this process of trying to figure out their personal brand. And she's like, well, I don't like anything that other people like. And she's like, okay, well, I'm sure that people like what you like. What is it that you like? She said, well, I like fermenting things. And the girl was like, okay, well, I'm sure there are other people that like fermenting things. That's, pretty niche, but you'll find your people if you start talking about that. Sure enough, this person's business starts to just skyrocket because she starts creating conversations around something she knows, which is fermenting things. And so don't think that your passion is too niche, or it's boring, or it's weird, or it's gross. Like, I mean, don't be gross, but like, you know what I mean by that. But there are people who share passions with you. Those are the people you want to find, because you will be able to create conversations with them. And so talk about your passions, talk about your dreams, with your passions, your opinions about your passions, your knowledge about your passions, moments doing your passions. You can, guys, go online or look at magazines about your passions and see what the headlines say and share what you think about that and whatnot. You can post about, just your journey in general, your personal development journey, your health journey, experiences you have. Guys, if you're doing that kind of stuff, I just wouldn't blast product names. Again, it's not personal. You want someone to ask, you want someone to care about coming to you and asking you about what you do or what you're taking or whatever. Anytime you can entertain somebody, make them laugh, smile, think, right? I'm constantly asking myself the question, am I making someone laugh, smile, or think? If I'm not, you know, I mean, aside from it literally just being for me, and sometimes I'll say this is for me, people will still engage on it, and you know, whatever, that's totally cool. I also say, who gives a crap? Before I post, who gives a crap about this? And if my answer is someone with similar interests, then that's good enough answer, right? I would probably stick to posting no more than 2 or 3 times a day. Guys, if you're clogging the feed and you're clogging your own page, like Facebook doesn't know what to show people, and then it just doesn't show anybody anything. You're gonna trample your own posts. I usually stick to about 3, 4 plus hours between posts. Not always, there are exceptions, but for the most part, I really try and space out my posts because I put that post up for people to look at and see and interact with, and then I can have the next one later. You can pre-write posts. You have a good idea for a post, pre-write it, put it in a note, and then post it later. Especially if you get one of those long ideas in the morning, right? Posting types. Post your story often. Talk about it often. Not, you don't have to post about it every single day, but I mean, at least, you know, twice a week. Again, where you've been, where you are, how you got there, and where you're going, right? Because again, it draws people in, it's relatable. They're following a journey, they're following a person. And different people are going to see it each time, and different people are going to see it again and be exposed again. Some other fun ones you can do a "this is me" post, right? Fun facts about you, self-introduction. That's a good place to put your story as well. I like to do these whenever I have a bunch of new friends, whenever I'm starting a journey, whenever it's just been a while. Like sometimes, again, I don't know how many of you guys follow me personally, but I did one just the other day where I said, how did I start it out? Hi, I'm Brooklyn. I'm a 28-year-old retired banker, and I'm kind of a goofball. Here are my answers to the most commonly asked questions in my inbox. No, I'm not looking for a hookup. I was born in Canada, raised near Seattle, and currently living Florida. Yes, I make my living in network marketing. That's about as businessy as I'll get, guys. No, I don't share posts. Yes, I do eat meat. I use the cleanest energy drink on the planet to get that vibe. No kiddos, but my dog is my child. Yes, sometimes I dress up. Thanks for noticing. No, I didn't graduate from university. Yes, I will be your friend if you like to spread good vibes and have an open mind. So what I just did was put myself out there and trying to find people on that same level, okay? Trying to introduce myself, trying to seem like more than a page to somebody, just like an actual human. Again, just an example. You don't have to do it like that, but those ones are fun, and they kind of kick your page off. So if you haven't really posted, or you haven't posted a lot of on a more like personal side, those are great. New journey posts, guys. These are just something that I would recommend doing, even if you haven't done it yet and you've been in the business a while. Keep it simple, exciting, intriguing. Don't give any details. Don't spam the company name. Talk about changes are coming. Talk about some big things are coming. People just want to follow a journey of progress. They want to follow people who are going places. It's a really good way to plant that seed, like I'm doing something, okay? It's usually designed to find early adopters, people who want to come with you because they know you're going to go somewhere. But you can use it still, like if you haven't posted anything about it already. Another form, and I'm running out of time, but empowerment or target person post. So write a post to a specific person, you know, right? For me, it's typically usually previous versions of me, like a former me. So for example, an office prisoner, because that's what I consider myself to be before, or a recent struggle to a success story. Like maybe someone you know in the team, and you can speak to the former them. You can talk about that way too. My mother is texting me. You can do team recognition. Again, I wouldn't spam corporate names. I wouldn't make income claims. I would talk more about what the money is doing for them, make them short, make them meaningful. We talked about stories. It's basically a behind the scenes look at you. It doesn't have to be fancy, just make it human. Yeah, put your product use in there. I think that that's powerful. I think that people, when they like what you're all about, they want to know, what is Brooklyn, use to get that way. You can put Pinterest memes or quotes. Again, have balance, please, like personal things about you and your day behind the scenes, but also you can put other inspiration in there as well. If you need to create more conversations at any given time in your messenger or whatever, you're not talking to people, you have nobody that you're talking to, go straight to Facebook stories and just start interacting on stories with genuine comments, right? Reacting is not enough. Genuine comments, questions, compliments, kind opinions. When you're having conversations with people in Messenger, listen to people. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, or 2 hands, 1 mouth, whatever. Or not 2 hands, 2 ears, 1 mouth. People want to be heard, right? So like ask questions and then just listen. You don't have to give them a novel back, right? Don't give them 1 word, but let them know that they're heard and ask another question, dive deeper, learn about them. When they believe you care, they will care. Like it's like Trey says, every single time he gets on Trey Talks on Thursdays, his only goal is to make us realize how much he cares. That's your goal. That's your goal, is to make someone realize how much you care. Not that you don't care about their opinions, but you care about them, okay? Let me make that really clear. You want to find a pain point, right? You want to find an income need or a time freedom need or a health need or whatever. There was a girl that I connected with in a dog mama group, and her whole thing was collecting expensive fish. Well, I was catching up with her because she had tacos on her story. So, I'm going to start that conversation. And I was asking her how she was doing and how her fish were doing. Well, apparently one of her fish was sick and it got all the rest of the fish sick. And so they all died and she lost her collection, which was very, very expensive. These are like $300, $400 fish, insane. And so I simply asked her, this is literally word for word what I said. Yeah, no, I totally understand. That would feel like shit. Sorry if there's kids around. I don't know if this is even for you, but God is telling me to speak up. If I had something that could help you earn I literally can't read. If I had something that could help you earn some extra income to get your fish collection going again, would you be interested? She said, sure, I'm open. And then she said, I keep my options open or something I don't remember what she said. Doesn't matter. Then I just told her I had a quick little video and we could chat after. And when she was ready for the video, I sent over the Navon 5 reasons, right? So but the point is that there was a need, right? She expressed something. Now it wasn't like, I need more money to get more fish, but it was like, well, I don't get to have my fish collection anymore. That makes me sad because it was too expensive, but we lost a lot of money when that fish made all the other fish sick, right? So things like that. The last thing that I want to say is, guys, I'm not a big pet the algorithm kind of person, but if you want to create more visibility with your posts, you need to give before you ask. So what I mean by that is, don't just aimlessly interact on your feed. I think that's a waste of time. But you can interact with people that you want on your team, and you can interact with people on your follow-up list before you post, because those are the people that Facebook is most likely to show your content to, right? And it just re-engages, it establishes that link, and it shows Facebook that you have an interest in being connected with them. So that's what I would say. I don't see any questions. Does anyone have any questions before I hop off of here? I have literally 3 minutes. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Just kidding. You can message, but.
So while no one has a questions, you guys take this and apply it. It's not going to do you any good unless you go apply it. So as you're going through your day or the next time you open Facebook, like set yourself a goal. I'm going to start 5 new conversations today and stick to it. Be consistent. Stick to it. I'm going to go interact on 20 stories that I haven't seen before. Or I'm going to, go interact with 10 people I already have relationships with. Set a goal. That way, when you open that Facebook app, you know exactly what you're doing there. And then you can do your stuff and get off without wasting a lot of time. I think a lot of people, myself included, I used to get sucked into the scroll hole where I was just scrolling, looking for somebody to talk to or something that I related to. And it's not a great use of your time. You can set your goal, hop on, do that, and then get off and go back to Messenger and talk to people or go clean or whatever you need to do in your life. So apply what we talked about here. I'm sure we'll do another one because there's tons that we can talk about. But yeah, if you guys have questions, let us know. Or if some of this doesn't make sense, we're always here for y'all.
All right. Peace out.
Bye, guys.